Now, assuming that you have done this setup, let's do assignment 0. Again, read the output of the commands you type, because I may do weird stuff, and stuff may look different on your machine and may behave differently on your machine. You want to catch the errors earlier and fix them as soon as possible. So let me go to this one. So I'm gonna do cd to my documents projects CS5000 folder, and then cd A0 because I'm gonna be working on assignment 0. Then just for fun, let's do git checkout master. In this case, it's really not needed, but that gets us back to the master branch. It is important to always start your work on the master branch. We haven't done anything, so we are on the master branch. But for other assignments, you may have moved to a different branch. And git pull will get all the changes from the remote. There will be changes to the master branch, usually done by you sending me a pull request or merge request, and I merging those changes. So it tells us it was already up to date. Life is good. Now we're going to create a new branch. Git checkout -b, and that says create a new branch A0. If we try to execute it again, it will tell us, oh, that branch already exists, but it doesn't do anything else. So if that happens, we will need to do git checkout A0. And git status tells you where you are, which branch you are, and what other stuff happened. So if you come back, you do it without the -b. Git branch will show you which branches are available. Now, we will use Gradle to run all the tests, /gradlu test, and I have it hooked up so it will actually grade your stuff. Tells you all the problems, right? Some place it wanted 19 but was 0, and we'll see how you can do it better. It tells you the features, and kind of you can think of each feature as an assignment or something like that, or as a problem in your assignment, and it tells you your grade. And it tells you this stuff. You would use your scroll wheel or something like that on your mouse to scroll, and it also tells you where to go for more detailed info. If you are using IntelliJ, you will probably not use this a lot, but if something happens and the IDE you're having issues with, you can always do it this way. This is just a URL. The file columns is for URLs that refer to things on your hard drive. And you have two features. We have add and subtract in this particular case, and a bunch of scenarios, a bunch of test cases or unit tests. And it actually happens to do one right and fails on 5. So what you would normally do is go work on them one by one. You can open the code on another text editor, and it will always be in source main assignment main Java assignment, and then called like with the assignment number. So you could use a normal text editor to open it. My default, I don't want to know what it is, text editor is Visual Studio Code. Let me open a file, and I have a bunch of stuff open. I would go to Curry, which is my home folder, projects. Where am I? Not projects, documents projects. Sorry. I named half my stuff projects. Where's documents? Where are you, documents? Should be here, documents. Then projects. and then CS5000, and I'm gonna use A0. Open that as a folder. Yep, just die. Yeah, good. I need to reopen it. Oh, perfect. A0. Maybe. Oh well. We'll not use Visual Studio Code because I have no clue what it's doing. Die. We are actually just gonna use, it's just a text editor and it will allow you can edit this in Notepad or whatever makes you happy. What we normally want to do is get used to one IDE. And so the one that I'm recommending and that I will be supporting is IntelliJ IDEA. So you are gonna do /gradlu IDEA. You need to do this for every project, and this will create for every assignment. So for A0, A1, for all of them, you need to do this. This creates a IntelliJ project, and hopefully it will all work in your machine and it will be set up with the right JDK. I'm gonna go find IntelliJ on my machine. Ow! I have a cold, as you may have noticed. And then, okay, it's coming, it's thinking about it. Maybe it will eventually open. Maybe sometime soon. Okay, there we are. And it's loading an old project. This will actually probably happen a lot to you guys, but now, what you want to do is do File, Open, and go find that guy, right? Documents, Projects, CS5000, A0. Just selecting the folder. If you do the Gradlu IDEA, that will work. I select this window because I don't want to open too many windows and confuse myself. You can open the project view. On Windows is Alt 1, on the Mac is Command 1, and that shows you all this stuff. You also will have a menu where you can go see all of that stuff. What you normally want to open is the Java file where you have to do the changes, and then there will be test and then features, and you can open one of these or just run as a test, right? Let's do add, and we're running it. Well, we're walking it, crawling it, maybe. Okay, it is running and it is in red. It tells us that we failed, right? It is the same thing, right? If you look at it, it is the same stuff that we had on the web browser, right? These scenarios failed, this one worked, but now we can do them one by one and fix them one by one. If you care, you can actually read this stuff, and it reads kind of like English, but it's my version of English. So it may not look like it makes any sense to you guys, but it is what made sense to me to describe what I expect. And there is magic that transforms this to actual Java code that calls your code and tells it what to do and verifies that those conditions happened. So what you need to do is replace lines to pass the test. Now, let's do this. I can do something dumb like this, return 3. What happens when I do that? I save it, and if I run this particular scenario, it will now work, right? It is dumb, but it works. Maybe. Yay! It doesn't actually solve the problem. If I was to run the feature, I'm still gonna be failing 5 and passing 1. And now this one that required it to return 0 doesn't work anymore, right? This is a super simple function. I'm actually telling you what to do because the point of this is to teach you how to use the tools, not how to program. So return a plus b. If you were to run this now, it will work. If we were to run /gradlu test, we still get a bunch of stuff that didn't pass, but now if we look at our grade and stuff, right, and there'll be this. I haven't been able to suppress all that other horrible output, just show you mine, or put mine at the bottom, so you have to find it in the middle. It tells you that add passed, subtract still failed, and it tells you your grade, and it tells you if you want to where to find it, right? Let me deviate a little bit from the instructions, because what this tells you is to keep going and eventually commit and push. Let me do what it tells you, which is this git add. If you do git status, it will now tell you there is you're on branch A0. This is what would be committed, and this file is modified and is in green because you have added it. So you can do git commit -m and then add. So A0 fixed add. Then you do git push origin A0. And it tells you that you pushed, and it tells you that you can create a merge request, right? So you can, even if it's incomplete, and I don't mind, it is perfectly okay to do it when you need feedback, right? Assign it, and it will, I'm assigning it to myself, which is slightly dumb, but it's okay, right? After you submit the merge request, you can go look at them. I can also look at them, something like this. Where am I? And I can see what changed. This is the changes that you did. I can leave comments, and you can go read those comments and say, oh yeah, perfect. Or stuff like, I prefer spaces. Add a space around the plus, for example, right? Which maybe it's not terribly important, but so I can actually give you comments. You can comment and ask questions, and I can eventually give answers and all of that stuff. Then you can also, and you should, keep going here, right? Now open a different one of these and do run. Now we are running subtract. We have fixed add, but we didn't fix subtract, and stuff is bad, right? And you can go see what are the problems. When A is 1 and B is 2, subtract should return -1, but you didn't, right? You returned 0 because we're always returning 0. If we fix this code, A minus B, we can run it again. Life is good, it passes. If we go back to our command line, we do gradlu test. Now you don't see all the other stuff because those were failing tests. You see this, you see scenarios, 10 and 10 passed, life is good. These steps don't terribly matter. You see your grade, 100 out of 100. Life is good. So now, git status will show you Um, you have a file that has been modified but not staged for commit. So you need to do git add and add it. You can either add the file, just do source main Java assignment, and that will add every file there. So git status will now show it in green because it has been added and it's to be committed. It has been staged for commit, so git commit -m done. Oops. Oh, I cannot use banks. I think, let me just satisfy my curiosity. If I do single quotes, then I can. I need to start using single quotes to quote my strings, because then those don't get any kind of transformation. And then git push origin A0, and that sends you back there, right? Remember, next time you're gonna do git checkout master, git pull, and go from there. And that is it. That is how it works. Eventually you get comments on this and the thing gets either merged. By the way, notice that you submitted it. If I reload this now, I will see 2 commits and 2 changes. You don't need to resend or anything like that. Now I see 2 commits. I can see each one of them individually, or more probably I don't terribly care about that stuff, so I will just look at the changes and look at the whole thing. And then I will normally, if it passes tests and it's all good, I will merge it. In this case, I'm gonna reject it so I don't merge these changes. So I'm gonna, what do I do? Close it. How do I call that? In here, I'm gonna close it because I don't want to merge those changes, because then when I copy this thing for you, you would get them. So this is how it's gonna work. You can see whether the pull request was closed or merged. You will actually normally receive emails about this, so you know how you're doing, you know how your exams went, and then you will eventually see the grades appear on D2L. And that's it. Let me stop.